Hey there, nostalgia lovers! Welcome to Nostalgia Area. Let me hit you with a question. Did you know that Kodak invented the digital camera and then buried it like a skeleton in the company closet? Yup, the very thing that could have made them tech royalty was tossed aside like last year's camcorder. And that's just one of the mind-blowing secrets behind the vintage brands we used to love. Today, we're peeling back the curtain on the hidden histories, forgotten scandals, and shocking what could have beens of brands that once ruled our shelves, homes, and hearts. From Polaroid's missing film formula to Pan Am's secret role in Cold War espionage. This isn't just a trip down memory lane, it's a full-blown investigation into the lost legends of yesteryear. So, grab a Capri Sun, dust off your Viewmaster, and get ready, because the truth behind these vintage brands is way stranger than fiction. Polaroid. It was the OG of instant selfies, decades before selfies were even a thing. But here's a wild part of the story. When Polaroid went bankrupt in the early 2000s and shut down its factories, something tragic happened. The original instant film formula was lost forever. Then, in 2008, a group of die-hard photography nerds stepped in to save the day. Calling themselves the Impossible Project, these mad scientists and analog enthusiasts took on the seemingly impossible task of reverse engineering Polaroid film from scratch. Fast forward to today, and Polaroid is back, baby. The brand was revived. The Impossible Project eventually merged with it.
Literally, when we started, it was impossible to make instant film for Polaroid cameras.
And now brand new Polaroid cameras and film are on the market. Long live instant magic. Once upon a time, you could order an entire house from the Sears catalog. Yes, a literal house. Kitchen sink included. In the early 1900s, Sears was America's retail giant. They invented remote shopping. So how on earth did they miss the online shopping boom?
Sears was once the biggest retailer in America.
Turns out, Sears had the tools to become Amazon decades before Jeff Bezos started losing his hair. But outdated leadership and internal chaos turned the retail giant into a mall ghost. Plot twist, the houses they sold? Some are still standing stronger than Sears stock. Want to browse a piece of that golden catalog era? Check out our link to vintage Sears catalogs and retro home decor. Perfect for collectors or anyone who wants to shop like it's 1979. Let's talk about the video game crash of 1983. And no, it wasn't just because kids discovered the outdoors. Atari, king of the early gaming world, rushed out the infamous E.T. the Extraterrestrial game in just 5 weeks. It was so bad, they dumped unsold copies into a New Mexico landfill. For years, this was dismissed as urban legend until 2014, when they actually dug it up.
That Atari buried millions of unsold copies of E.T. for the Atari 2600 in a New Mexico landfill.
It was real, like gaming's Roswell. Atari's fall nearly took down the entire video game industry. But hey, at least we got a Netflix documentary out of it. You probably think of Tupperware as that cabinet avalanche waiting to happen. But did you know it played a major role in women's financial independence? In the 50s, Tupperware parties gave housewives a shot at earning their own income and building communities, long before girl boss was a hashtag. And yet, the woman behind its success, Brownie Wise, was booted from the company by its founder and erased from the brand's legacy.
A woman named Brownie Wise to push Tupper's product onto the world stage.
That's right. She made Tupperware a phenomenon and got ghosted. Corporate edition. Pan Am wasn't just an airline. It was an experience. A golden age fantasy of jet-setting luxury.
America, you don't know it yet, but you're going to Europe this summer on Pan Am.
But behind the polished mahogany bars and sky-high glamour, Pan Am had a darker, far more intriguing side. Whispers swirled for decades that the airline was also a shadow arm of U.S. Cold War intrigue. Rumor has it, and some declassified docs kind of confirm, that Pan Am worked hand in glove with the CIA. helping smuggle spies, defectors, and intelligence across hostile borders. Need to extract an asset from behind the Iron Curtain? Pan Am might have had a diplomatic flight for that. Covert operatives posing as crew? Entirely possible. This wasn't just an airline. It was James Bond in a Boeing 707, a jet-age cocktail of espionage and elegance. Kodak basically invented how we remember birthdays, vacations, and awkward prom poses. But here's the jaw-dropper. They created the first digital camera in 1975.
First digital camera made in 1975.
Then they shelved it. Why? Because it threatened their film business. By the time they realized digital was the future, it was too late. Kodak went from king of the photo empire to a cautionary tale of disruption denial. Oh, the irony. The company that helped us capture memories couldn't adapt fast enough to make new ones. Remember Radio Shack? That store where you could buy a remote control, a soldering kit, and possibly a fax machine? On the same shelf. But behind those blinking gadgets lies one of the greatest what-ifs in retail history. Radio Shack had a national mail order business and a huge retail footprint in the 80s and 90s, making it primed for e-commerce. But they blew it. Instead of going digital, they doubled down on batteries and beepers. By the time they tried rebranding in the 2010s, their slogan should have been, "It's too late." Woolworth's was the original dollar store meets department store. But here's what most folks forget. It was the site of a major civil rights protest. In 1960, 4 black college students staged a sit-in at Woolworth's lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina, sparking a nationwide movement. So, behind the bargain bins and candy aisles was a piece of powerful American history. Eventually, Woolworth's fizzled out, but its legacy lives on.
Woolworth luncheonette counter left in America, still serving up the iconic food, smiles, and atmosphere of yesteryear.
Believe it or not, through Foot Locker, which spun off from the brand. Ah, Crystal Pepsi, the ultimate 90s enigma in a bottle. This translucent soda burst onto the scene in 1992 like a fizzy UFO, promising the bold flavor of Pepsi with the aesthetic of sparkling water. It was a futuristic caffeine-free cola that matched the era's obsession with pure and clean products. But the first sip, a confusing letdown. It tasted like someone had taken regular Pepsi, stripped away its caramel soul, and left behind a ghostly, vaguely sweet aftertaste. But here's the real kicker. Crystal Pepsi's downfall wasn't just about its identity crisis in liquid form. It was sabotaged by Coca-Cola. When Pepsi's clear cola started gaining hype, Coke weaponized psychology with a drink called Tab Clear, a deliberately terrible clear diet soda. Why? To trick consumers into associating all clear colas with the bitter, artificial taste of diet drinks. And it worked. Shoppers saw 2 clear sodas on shelves, assumed they were both weird diet flops. And Crystal Pepsi's fate was sealed.
Crystal Pepsi's appearance is unique. It's got the blue base cup. It looks like a beautiful package.
Want to try it today? Crystal Pepsi has come back in limited drops. And we've linked some collector's editions and retro cola alternatives in case you're thirsty for revenge. You probably remember the Viewmaster as that chunky plastic toy from your childhood. The one that transported you to 3D worlds of Disney castles, Jurassic jungles, or the depths of space with a satisfying click-click of the lever. But here's the twist. The Viewmaster wasn't originally meant for kids at all. It was invented in 1939 as a sophisticated travel aid for adults, a way to experience distant landmarks in immersive 3D without leaving home. Think of it as the VR headset of the pre-digital era, offering virtual vacations long before the term even existed. Then World War II happened and the Viewmaster got drafted. The U.S. military realized its potential as a training tool and commissioned custom reels to teach soldiers how to identify enemy aircrafts. The Viewmaster went from travel gadget to military tool to childhood staple. Proof that even the simplest toys can have layers of history. So, what did we learn today, fellow time travelers? that behind every plastic container, video cartridge, and sugary soda lies a secret. Some empowering, some embarrassing, and some so strange they feel like conspiracy theories. But they're all real. These brands weren't just products. They were cultural touchstones. They shaped generations, sparked revolutions, and sometimes sabotaged themselves into oblivion. Now we want to hear from you. Which vintage brand do you miss the most? Was your childhood ruled by Radio Shack? Or do you still hoard your grandma's Tupperware? If you enjoyed this nostalgic deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you never miss another blast from the past. And don't forget, we've dropped a bunch of awesome retro-style products, collectibles, and gear down in the description. Until next time, keep it vintage, keep it weird, and keep those secrets coming.